What's the perfect credit score? Well, pretty much anything around an 800 or above an 800 is considered a perfect credit score. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on exactly how to achieve that perfect credit score. Hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you can be notified every single time we upload a new video for any helpful information for you. So here's the steps I've used and we've also used to help hundreds of our clients achieve perfect credit. First, I'm going to take you through exactly what is credit, how it works, and then we're going to go over all the steps on how you can achieve that perfect credit scores. But in order to do that, we first need to understand exactly how credit works and what that pesky algorithm that the credit bureaus use to help generate your credit score is. It's almost like kind of finding your perfect match. You got to check off all the boxes, and we're going to go over all those boxes here in this video. So let's go over the 5 factors that help make up your credit score and what can give you a perfect credit score. So factor number 1 is your payment history. Guys, you got to pay your bills on time. Come on, that's super simple. That's going to be 35% of your credit score that goes into the algorithm on how they make that. So factor number 1 is your payment history. Everybody wants to make sure they're paying their bills on time. As a matter of fact, that's the largest part of your whole credit score that the algorithm uses. Matter of fact, it's 35% of your score. Guys, one late payment can be devastating for your credit score. Not only that, it can stay on your credit report for up to 7 years. So you want to make sure that you're making at least the minimum payment on time every single month. Number 2 is the amounts owed, or what's called your utilization rate. This makes up 30% of your credit score. Let me explain how this works. What that means is, for easy math, let's say you have a $1,000 balance or a $1,000 limit on your credit card, but your balance is $800. That's going to give a credit utilization of 80%. That's not good. Ideally, we want to keep those below 30% or less. So in that same example, if you have a $1,000 limit on that credit card, we want to keep our balance at $300 or below in order for it to have the biggest impact and the greatest effect on your credit score. Number 3, the average age of your credit. What this shows potential creditors is that the longer you've had good credit and good standing, the more likely you are to pay your obligations on time. Number 4, what types of credit you have. This takes into account different types of revolving debt like credit cards or installment debt, car loans, something that actually has a balance that you're going to pay off at the end of, and also mortgages. Again, this counts for 10% of your overall credit score. And finally, number 5, the amount of hard inquiries that you have on your credit report. Here's the thing, don't really worry about this one too much. It really doesn't have that big of an impact on your overall credit, and it's a very short term, any type of impact that it does have if it does make your score go down, and it really doesn't make it much, just a few points per inquiry. So how do we know if we have all this stuff going on track and if we've got those 5 factors working in our favor? Well, there's a few things you can do. First one is you can sign up for Credit Karma or Credit Sesame. Now, fair warning and full disclosure, your credit score on Credit Karma or Credit Sesame is not going to be the same score that an actual lender is going to use, especially if you're doing it for a home. We use a completely different FICO scoring model for that. Credit Karma, I use it myself. It's a great tool to monitor your credit and to make sure things are being reported on time. But other than that, it's not going to be the same thing. But it's a good place to start to take a look at it. My favorite thing to do, and once a year you can actually get a full credit report that'll have your score and it'll show all your accounts on it. Now, here's the thing. If you're on a website and someone's asking you to pay money to get a credit report, just go out of that website. There's no reason you should be paying any money for a credit report for this type of usage whatsoever. So now that we have our credit report and we've reviewed it, let's take a look at the 5 factors and see. So the most common thing that we see is there's not enough credit. How do we improve on that? What are some things that we can do to get some more credit to help get our score up? Number 2, you've got late payments. You might have a payment on there or maybe a couple. We want to address those right away as well. Number 3, do we have any accounts at all on there that are currently in collections? This could be medical collections. Maybe you had a bill that you thought was closed, but it's not. We want to see if we have any current collections that are showing up on your credit report, right? So when does an account even go to collections? Well, typically it's going to be after 6 months or 180 days of late payment or not making a payment at all. Basically, the person who's got the loan against you or the credit card company, they've given up. They're like, this person's not going to pay us. So they end up selling that debt to a debt collector for pennies on the dollar. Typically, it can be as little as like 30, 35 cents on the dollar that they sell there. That's when you start getting those pesky phone calls that never seem to stop. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of any collections right away. Number 4 that we want to look at, do we have any current accounts that are maxed out or almost maxed out? Again, remember, credit utilization is 30%, and we want to ideally keep that credit utilization at 30%. 90% or below on those accounts. So again, if we've got a $1,000 credit card, but the balance is $900 on that, that's a 90% credit utilization. We want to get that down below that. So let's look at some hacks on some of the things we can do. So number one, not enough credit. Here's something really cool. You can sign up for what's called an authorized user. Now again, full disclosure and fair warning, not all credit card companies will do this, but most of them still do. And a lot of the big ones still do. What this is you're actually piggybacking on someone else's credit as an authorized user. They're not giving you a card, but you're going to help get some of that history that they've had. So if someone's had, let's say, an American Express card for 10 years and they've had really good credit, you're now going to get all that history that they've had before as an authorized user. However, you want to be really careful because here's the deal. If you become an authorized user on someone's credit and they've got some late payments and some other things that weren't so good on that, you're going to inherit those as well. So make sure you do your homework with that individual that you are going to be an authorized user and that they've made all their payments on time, that they've got good history. At least 3 to 5 years is what we want to see. If they've got longer history than that and they've been perfect on that card, even better. Hack number 2, how do we pay down our balances or get our credit utilization? Here's the thing. If you've been a really good client and never been late on that credit card, call that credit card company and see if you can actually have it. A lot of times, if you're, say, $700 balance on, again, that $1,000 an example, and you get your limit raised up to where you're now below 50%, that's going to help out your score a lot more as opposed to where you were at the 70% utilization. Again, remember, we want to try and get down to 30% or below on that, guys. So make sure that we're trying to do that and get that in there as quickly as possible. This is going to have the biggest impact on your credit right away, like literally within 30 to 45 days. Getting those balances down, you'll see a huge spike in your credit score. Number 4, we want to look for any type of discrepancies on your account. Now, here's the thing, you want to be honest. However, if there is a mistake on there that's reporting late, you want to get that removed. So you want to dispute any inaccuracies on your credit report. If that particular lender, that particular creditor, can't prove within 30 days that it actually was, by law, it has to. Even if it's just a couple that you get removed, that's going to have a huge impact on your credit score. Finally, credit hack number 5. Do not, I repeat, do not close any old accounts. Even if you've got a 0 balance on that card and you haven't used it for several years, you're going to lose all that history that you've had on that credit card for making positive payments on time. Now, if you do have a card that has an annual fee, call up the credit card company, see if you can downgrade that card to a card that doesn't have it. If you do have a card that does require you to maybe use that card once a year and have a little balance on it, go buy a burrito. Seriously, buy a burrito for like $3, $4, $5. Pay it off when the next billing cycle comes in. That way you're still getting all that history. But again, don't ever close any old accounts because you want to maintain that positive history. And finally, here's a bonus hack number 6. Guys, be really of so-called credit repairers or any kind of spam comments that you see on things like that saying, oh, these people fixed my credit, did all this. There are some really, really good ones out there that utilize the law and do it correctly. But a lot of times, credit repair companies, they won't tell you certain things, like they'll purposely miss payments so they can start negotiating with the creditors on your behalf. We want to avoid that. It can actually hurt your score a lot more worse. And besides, you can literally do all this stuff. It's not that hard. It takes a little bit of elbow grease, but you're $0. So you can literally get a perfect credit score for free. So I hope this makes sense to you on how you can help achieve a perfect credit score. Remember, it's totally in your reach. It does take some time, guys. It's not an overnight thing. Remember, you didn't ruin your score overnight, so it does take a little bit of time to establish credit. Here's another thing too. Anything higher than an 800 credit score is pretty much considered perfect credit, guys. But the majority of lenders, anything that's a 760 or above, so a 760 to an 800 credit score, is looked very highly upon and shows that you know how to manage your debts and manage your finances and take care of your credit. So guys, I hope you found this information useful. And again, make sure you like and subscribe. If you know someone who might be able to use this information, please feel free to share it. And again, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.